Welcome back to the 26th edition of What the Facts, the most frequently asked questions of the week. Well, sorry I was away for so long. I think it's been almost a half a year, but but I was dealing with some personal family issues and some job-related demands. But here we are. There have been so many questions in the office that have uh, been good fodder to talk about. But I think I'll just address the reasons why you should eat whole food plant based. You should have a whole food plant based lifestyle. I'm gonna give you 5 tips on how to proceed with that. But first, I want to cover the why. And in an earlier video, I mentioned that before you embark on a life changing lifestyle or diet change, you should be pretty solid in your why. So I'm going to give you some things to think about as far as that is concerned. 5 reasons, 5 whys. One, a whole food plant based lifestyle targets the most common cause of death in this country, and that's heart disease. Over 600,000 people die annually in the U.S. and in other westernized countries because largely because of diet. So the whole food plant based diet or lifestyle tends to target that as well. Number two, the reason, as well as several other leading causes of death. Out of the top 10, at least 8 of the top 10 are influenced greatly by diet and lifestyle, and diet being the heavier weight there. Excuse the pun. So, by addressing, so those are 2 reasons right there. It deals with the most common cause of death in this country and several others. Cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, kidney disease. Now, the 3rd reason is that it's user friendly, relatively speaking, relative to some of the other diets, like keto and paleo. You don't have to do portion control. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to avoid complex carbs, like within the carbs involved with fruit, carbs included with fruit or with beans. In fact, you should eat beans. You should eat fruit. That makes no sense on some of these like low carb diets. The body is designed to digest and get the energy from fruit and from beans and from whole grains. Now, the 4th reason is because it's most proven. You cannot find any other diets where you've got 20 and 30 years of research where people have followed these diets and done well. For example, the Women's Health Professional Study and the Harvard Professional Study that goes over 20 years, and the Epic Oxford Study. You can look these up. The Adventist Studies 1 and 2. Wonderful data there. No, not random trials, that blinded studies where there's less bias, because that's hard to do when you talk about diet and following people over decades. Double-blinded, randomly controlled trials are the kind of the markers of good studies, but you can't find that kind of constructed data when you talk about health and diet and lifestyle. There are too many moving parts. So when you deal with large studies over long periods of time, you can extract very good information. And then lastly, it's the most sustainable, meaning that it's something that when you track people, you have a higher percentage of people that 3, 4, 6 months, 6 years later are following it. You won't find that with keto. You often won't find that with paleo. It's just a situation where, again, the rewards are greater. And when you go to see your doctor on your annual visit, you'll get good reports from your doctor, and that stokes that's the fuel that stokes the flame for you to keep going. Now, 5 tips on how to proceed with this. One is educate. Educate yourself. Continually look at sources of information about whole food, plant-based. There's plenty of sources. There's my website, fearlessmd21.com. There's pcrm.org. They're on YouTube as The Exam Room with Chuck Carroll. I don't go a week. I generally don't go a couple of days without tuning in to The Exam Room with Chuck Carroll. That's Dr. Neil Barnard. He's an MD nutrition expert. That's his YouTube presence, as well as pcrm.org, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. Also, there's Dr. Greger's site, the nutritionfacts.org. I frequent that every week. Wonderful topics based on science, based on studies. There's Dr. Kim Williams, who's all over YouTube, a cardiologist. Listen to his lectures as often as you can. There's Dr. Milton Mills, who will go through every aspect of why our bodies are designed to eat plants. And then there's Dr. Michael Klaper, Klaper. Wonderful YouTube presence. Go to his website too. All these doctors I mentioned have websites. Have your pencils, pads out, folks. I'm giving you some information, important information. And then, so education is key. Second, you want to have your mentors. And these are some of the doctors I mentioned. You want to frequently listen to people that are experts, that are not only have knowledge about nutrition, but about the human body. You know, the medical doctors. Now, a lot of medical doctors don't have this knowledge because it's not in the DNA of our training. But those that do, it's a wonderful thing because you get both sides of the fence there, that kind of complement, that alternate side, alternative medicine side, and that conventional side. So it's a wonderful pairing. So there's as I mentioned, Dr. Greger, Michael Greger, Dr. Michael Klaper. There's Dr. Neil Barnard, Dr. Kim Williams. There's Dr. Milton Mills. And you know, pick your mentor and frequently listen to them. Go online and find them. There's also Dr. Joel Fuhrman, Fuhrman. And then the fourth thing is you need support. Some other people that are in the same boat with you. Sometimes that's hard to find. You can be an island in your own home. I've been there. But you know, there's online, there's on Facebook, there's a number of communities, the vegan communities. You want a healthy vegan community. Don't eat that vegan junk food. You know, whole food plant-based is more the descriptive. So get your support. There may be in the community, a vegan society and community. There's Clubhouse, you know, the Clubhouse app. Lots of vegan rooms and houses there. And then lastly, you know, visit my website quite often, fearlessmd21.com, fearlessmd21.com, because it's not all about food, folks. It's also, and the fearless is an acronym. Food is F, it's first, very important, but exercise and avoiding toxins, that's the A is avoiding toxins, the R, restorative sleep, the L is lessening stress, the E is engaging your mind, and then the last two S's, social energy and spiritual connectivity. So I think I've taken enough of your time. Bonus tip, you go this route, make sure you get that vitamin B12 in. You're not going to get it from plants. Animals don't make it either. It's just that since they eat more dirt and there's more bacteria involved, you get some B12 from animals. Actually, these factory farmed animals, they get it by supplement too. So because they don't eat the natural things they are supposed to eat. So it's better off not to eat animals and animal products. The other thing is the vitamin D. Most of us aren't out in the sun for 30 minutes a day without sunscreen. And I'm not saying you should necessarily do that because, you know, there's some consequences there if you're out there too long without sunblock. But most of us would benefit from taking supplements of vitamin D also. Talk with your doctor about how much. For the average person, it's about 2,000 international units daily. Okay, folks, that's it. I'll try to hit back a lot sooner than 4 or 5 months the next time. Take care.